It has never been easier to land a high ticket sales job where you can make $100,000 per year or more. I did this myself and I landed a role for an 8-figure entrepreneur, someone that you probably know about, where I've been making over $20,000 per month in commissions. And the way to do it is not by spamming out hundreds of super needy messages to influencers that will never even see your application. Instead, I'm gonna give you 3 simple ways to stand out, skip the line, and actually get hired for a good high ticket sales role in 7 days. If you have any specific questions or need help with this, feel free to message me on Instagram or book a call with me down below this video to speak with me directly. Now let's get into this. And first off, I want to share with you why I struggled to land remote sales roles in the beginning and why 99% of people never actually land a good first high ticket sales role. And that all comes down to just approaching the whole job landing process in the completely wrong way. So here's what I mean. What I used to do in the beginning is I would go out onto Facebook groups, because that's what most high ticket sales mentors will tell you to do. You know, go on Facebook groups, join 20 different groups, blast out outreach, and also send out these like copy and paste messages on Instagram, and just focus on the numbers, just to as many people as possible, and you will land your role. That's what I did. I did this for a long time and I struggled a lot with landing my first role doing this. I literally got no replies whatsoever, and whenever I got a reply from someone from a Facebook group or from a DM, it would always be someone asking me to pay money to go work for them, which is obviously a massive red flag and not something that you should be doing whatsoever, you know? So I was just like in this hamster wheel, struggling, putting in hours every single day, trying to land these roles, couldn't figure it out, was stuck. And the big problem that I was facing is at the same time, I was in a phase where I had a lot of pressure from my family to figure my life out. I was still living with my parents back in Sweden, started getting closer to the time where I was supposed to either go into university, get a job, or like figure my stuff out, you know, because I've been trying this whole like entrepreneurship thing for over 2 years at that point. Hadn't figured out, couldn't succeed in actually making my first like 5 to 10K a month online. And my parents were starting to kind of like doubt me, you know, and I started running out of savings as well. So I got to a point where like I had to desperately get a remote sales job, start making money and like actually figure my stuff out, or else I would be kind of forced to go into a 9 to 5 or go into college, which I really didn't want to do. So as you can probably understand, like I was really stressed, you know, I was like having all this pressure externally, also internally, because I wanted to like figure my stuff out and actually start making money online after like all these years of trying so. And I couldn't make it work. I didn't see any responses, didn't see any positive feedback until I made 2 specific changes to my approach of doing outreach. I made 2 specific changes, and that allowed me to eventually land my first role and eventually allowed me to completely change my life. Now I make multiple 6 figures per year. I can travel. I left my parents' house multiple years ago. And all this came down to 2 changes that I made, and I've also made this into a system that I teach inside of my one-on-one coaching to my students. It's helped over 100 guys land remote sales roles in as little as 1 to 2 weeks without any experience. And what these 2 changes were that changed everything for me and allowed me to land a role very quickly. When you know what defines a good business to go work for, it becomes easy to know where you can actually find those businesses. Because here's the thing, a good business to work for, what are they going to have? They're always going to have a good amount of marketing going, you know, a good high ticket sales role will have a consistent amount of leads, so like new potential customers for you as a sales rep to speak with on a daily basis. How do these companies actually get these leads? Is by running ads or making content, you know? If we know that to be true, that gives us kind of like a hint of where we could find these people, you know? We want to figure out who is advertising their services, their coaching program right now, okay? And the way we can figure it out is if you go on Meta Ads Library, that's a website by Facebook. We can publicly see who is running ads on Facebook and Instagram. If you go on there, you can actually see exactly who is running ads, what they're saying in their ads, what they're selling. You can see everything on there. So that's what I started doing. I realized, okay, if I find companies that are running ads in a niche that I'm interested in, they're spending money on advertising, which means that they're probably like making a profit from that. Because they're spending money on ads, they're getting consistent leads. They're getting a good amount of people to speak with, which means that I could actually make money if I go work for them. And they're running like an active offer that's actually like working because they're spending money on ads right now. It's not something that's like that was active like a year ago. It's actually going on right now, and they're probably looking for sales reps that are good as well. When I understood this and I went on Meta Ads Library, I started searching for different keywords. You know, I was interested in, for example, working for a fitness coach, working for like a make money online offer. So I started searching for these different keywords, you know, 10K per month online, drop shipping, trading, different like diets, like keto diet, carnivore diet. So I started searching for these keywords on Meta Ads Library. And I started seeing these businesses, that were selling high ticket offers. I can see them having these ads, directing people to a landing page where people could book a call with their sales team. And I started reaching out to these people. And doing this, it literally gave me an abundance of good roles. Instead of blasting out outreach to these companies that never responded or getting like scammy replies, I was able to direct my outreach only towards companies that were actually good to work with. And my response rate got way, way higher. And everyone that I was speaking with was already qualified, more or less, for me to go and work with as well. It's two different platforms. And if you know anything about the online space, you probably heard about either School, which is Alex Hormozi and Sam Ovens' platform, or about Whoop, which is a platform that Iman Gadzhi recently invested into. These are the platforms where most good high-ticket sales offers are hosted upon, okay? So knowing that to be true, that also means that you can literally find an abundance of roles also on these platforms, because they're new, they're growing. Pretty much all high-ticket sales offers are moving to one of those two platforms. So if you go on there, if you go on School, if you go on Whoop, they have these like marketplaces and these like discovery sections on both of those different platforms where you can literally go and search and find a bunch of people that have high-ticket offers. And if you go on there and you scroll around, you will find so many people to reach out to. So that's an extremely powerful way. That's what I taught another one of my students. His name was John. He came in with no sales experience, 18 years old, helped him land a role in 5 days by using the School outreach method. It's extremely powerful. And basically how it works, you want to go either on Meta Ads Library or you want to go on School or on Whoop. That's where you find good offers to go and apply for. And then you want to get people's email address by finding their YouTube page, find their Instagram, and then reach out to them with personalized outreach. Send out personalized Loom videos where you're talking directly to them. You need to be a real human being and show your energy, talk about why you want to work with them, and basically it's like sell yourself to the business. The more genuine, the more real and like just good energy you can have, the more likely you are to land those roles. Because at the end of the day, these strategies all work, and doing direct outreach is very, very powerful. But another strategy that I've used recently that's been working extremely well for a lot of my students as well is using networking. One of the oldest principles has been around for forever, but most people forget about this. If you use networking in the right way, you can literally get an abundance of roles sent to you without even doing outreach. So how do you do that? You basically start going on Instagram. Instead of going for the business owner, which is usually very hard to get responses from, you want to go for these like lower level people in the business, the sales manager, the closers, even the appointment setters in the business. Start networking with those people, Give them compliments, give them praise, ask them simple questions about what's going on, and just let them know in a nice, gentle, like non-pushy way that you're an appointment setter or a closer looking for a role. If you do this for the next couple of weeks, you will start eventually getting your name out there. These people will find out about who you are, and if you combine this with posting some like sales content on your Instagram and treating it almost like a resume, you will eventually start getting roles sent to you from these people. That's extremely, extremely powerful. It almost gets you to a point where you become like a hot girl, on Instagram. That's something I teach my students. That's how they land very, very good roles, where they can literally like sit and pick and choose from different offers and pick from a place of abundance and go into the offer that they really want to go for. So if you want to learn from me directly and get coached by me to, number one, learn the skill, that's a very key part in actually getting into a good role, actually getting good at sales, but also learning the specific systems to land roles in 1 to 2 weeks that I've taught my students. You can book a call down below this video. You can chat and I'll see if it's a good fit, if I can actually help you out. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. I reply to all DMs on there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.